This is a coming-of-age story. For decades, we've been told that clean energy was a dream, that economics would never pan out, that wind and solar were feel-good ideas that couldn't survive the real world. And for a long time, they were right. The math didn't work. The technology wasn't there. The infrastructure wasn't built. But something has been quietly happening for years, and it reached a tipping point. In February, the International Energy Agency put out a report calling this the age of electricity. Electricity demand is now growing more than twice as fast as overall energy demand, and low-emission sources are on track to supply about half the world's power by 2030. But a big problem is about 2,500 gigawatts of new clean energy projects are stuck in connection queues. Not because we can't build the power plants, but because we can't plug them in. The bottleneck is the grid, getting projects connected and having enough storage transmission to move that power where it's needed. In 2025, energy hit a milestone.
Renewable energy has overtaken coal as the world's leading source of electricity for the first time.
If solar keeps growing as it is growing, and we have steady growth of wind, there is no going back.
Science magazine named the renewables tipping point its 2025 breakthrough of the year. Renewables finally got cheap, shockingly cheap.
Solar energy is the cheapest it's ever been, nearly 90% cheaper than it was just in 2009. In a lot of places, it is now cheaper to generate electricity with solar than with coal, natural gas, or nuclear power.
And right at this same moment, something else happened.
How can I help?
AI showed up, hungry, demanding more power than anyone planned for. And the US is way behind. In just a few years, China has been adding power capacity measured in terawatts, several times America's entire peak capacity. Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, the company making the chips powering the AI revolution, said this in January.
China has twice the amount of energy we have as a nation. Our economy is larger than theirs. Makes no sense to me.
At Davos, he went even further.
AI is actually essentially a 5-layer cake. At the bottom is energy. AI, because it's processed in real time and it generates intelligence in real time, it needs energy to do so.
We know AI needs a lot of power, but how much? Analysts at Goldman Sachs project that by 2030, U.S. data centers could be using high single-digit share of all U.S. electricity. PJM, the grid operator covering 65 million people in the Mid-Atlantic and Midwest, is warning of capacity shortfalls later this decade. The grid wasn't built for this. They've already delayed retirement of a significant share of older fossil plants that were supposed to shut down. Wang saw it coming.
We have to use every form of energy we can. I believe we can't rely on the power grid. We got to build behind the meter.
Build behind the meter. Forget the grid. Generate your own power on site. And the data center will take energy from fossil fuels, energy from the sun, energy from the wind. But renewables have been risky because they've been intermittent, unreliable, or too expensive until now. It's maturing at the moment we need it the most. And the key to success in renewables is batteries. A company called Crusoe, one of the Stargate project partners, actually did it. Built a data center with no grid connection at all.
There is just no way to connect them to the grid fast enough. So what we did here in less than 5 months was bring up a new data center without a connection to the grid.
5 months versus 3 years for a traditional grid hookup. And here's where it gets almost too neat to believe. The batteries, they're not new. They're used, pulled out of electric vehicles, repurposed by a company called Redwood Materials, founded by J.B. Straubel, Tesla's co-founder, who controls 70% of North American battery collection.
This is the world's largest deployment of reused second life transportation batteries, and we believe it's also the largest microgrid operating in North America today. Inside those are Nvidia GPU hardware that are operating AI workloads, which are being powered by 100% solar power through these second life EV batteries. So this is the lowest cost form of power storage that really exists in the market today.
This is not a test. This is running right now, and it connects every thread of the story. Batteries, solar, AI, all in one place, in the desert. Wind is the same story. Washington dismisses it. The market doesn't.
GE Vernova, for context, generates about 25% of the world's electricity every day.
GE Vernova stock is soaring. Demand is up, and it's not going back.
We have 57,000 wind turbines creating electrons today. In the US, about half of the wind electricity that's created every day is with our wind turbines. We continue to invest in our wind business today because from everything we see, between now and 2050, the world needs a lot more wind.
Siemens Energy, the other global wind giant, is sitting on an order backlog into the 100 billions of euros. With its share price more than tripling over roughly the past year, these companies aren't waiting for political permission.
President Trump definitely is tough on wind in a lot of his narrative. But I'll tell you, I've lived through other administrations that haven't been cheerleading all of my technologies.
Now, let's talk about tariffs. On Liberation Day, April 2nd, 2025, Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from nearly every country. Chinese goods took the biggest hit. For battery cells, that's stacked on top of existing 301 tariffs, bringing total duties on Chinese cells to close to 50%. Right now, China controls most of the cells going into American grid storage projects and most components of renewables.
Question isn't really whether the US can catch up to China. It probably can't ever catch up really at this point, given how far ahead China is, but it will take many years for this to play out.
Of the 10 biggest EV battery companies, 6 are Chinese.
And then, on July 4th, 2025, Trump signed what he called the One Big Beautiful Bill. It scrapped the $7,500 EV tax credit at the dealership, but left something from the Inflation Reduction Act untouched. Section 45X. Here's what it actually says. The 45X credit subsidizes the production of 5 types of goods: solar energy components, wind energy components, battery components, inverters, and critical minerals. Businesses may only claim the credit for goods produced in the United States or its territories. The incentive structure flipped overnight. Batteries for cars became less profitable. Batteries for the power grid became a gold rush. On February 20th, the Supreme Court ruled that the emergency powers law Trump had been using to build his tariff architecture doesn't actually authorize tariffs. Within hours, he invoked a different statute, Section 122, imposing a new global tariff of up to 15%. It expires in 150 days. Who knows what comes after that? What's clear is that this administration wants tariffs, especially on China. The specific legal mechanism keeps changing. The direction does not. Suddenly, building domestically was the only rational play. And as prices come down, investment in an American supply chain is not so quietly happening. Ford moved first. They redirected their Michigan battery plant, originally built for EVs, to grid-scale storage, after absorbing a $19.5 billion loss in EVs.
Ford no longer plans to produce select larger electric vehicles because of low demand and costs, but instead launch what they're calling a high-growth battery energy storage business.
Tesla didn't need to pivot. They saw this coming years ago. Energy storage is already their most profitable division, 20% of total revenue, double the margins of their auto business. Their Houston mega factory comes online in 2026, producing utility-scale batteries called megapacks. But also, 4 battery factories with no Chinese ownership ties are now operational in the U.S. LG Energy Solution in Michigan, AESC in Tennessee, SK Battery in Georgia, Samsung SDI in Indiana. 95% of solar wafer production happens in China, but Corning just made a $1.5 billion bet to change that.
Today, I'm excited to be in our newest manufacturing facility, the largest solar ingot and wafer facility in the United States.
But how is all this playing out in the real world right now? The Financial Times brought us a story out of Texas.
So it's mid-morning, the sun is up, and hundreds of solar energy projects across the state are rapidly ramping up their power production. That's having the impact of depressing electricity prices, which means we're naturally incentivized to charge from that energy right now. We're then gonna hold on to it for the majority of the day. Sun goes down, people come home from work, turn on their air conditioners, and we're gonna discharge that energy for a profit.
So all of the batteries being deployed in the state are because they can make money.
California, of course, has been building for years. They have 16,942 megawatts of installed battery storage, more than any jurisdiction on Earth except China. One more thing. The IEA says nuclear hit record output in 2025.
Well, Google, speaking of, is the latest tech giant to go nuclear.
Google's announcement with Kairos Power is a new chapter for tech partnering with nuclear.
Microsoft is paying $1.6 billion to restart 3 Mile Island.
Meta is striking deals to secure a massive nuclear supply of energy for its AI data centers.
These new reactors aren't expected to deliver a single electron to the grid until sometime in the early 2030s, 2031 at the earliest. Batteries are shipping today. Nuclear is a bet on the decade after. Both matter, but they're not the same race. But as we catch up to China, we're seeing something signaling a boom around this transition. Stock prices. GE Vernova and Siemens Energy up more than 120% in the past year. And Solve Energy, a solar battery storage construction company, just debuted on the NASDAQ at a $6 billion valuation. Demand is soaring. The cost per kilowatt hour keeps falling. We're at a huge inflection point where innovation matters, and it can't come fast enough.